Let me start with a situation that's probably uncomfortably familiar. It's a Wednesday morning. You're already a little stressed. You're driving to work, mentally calculating how late you can be without getting in trouble. Then it happens. A warning light turns on, not dramatic, just steady, quiet. Your stomach drops. You know the fix is probably a few $100s, maybe $300, maybe $400, nothing catastrophic. Except you check your bank account and you have $61 until payday. So you do what most people do. You ignore it. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later. You turn up the radio. You hope the problem stays small. It doesn't. 2 months later, the car dies completely. Not in your driveway, on the highway. Now you need a tow, $180. The original issue damaged something else, $1,900 in repairs. You miss work for 2 days, $320 in lost wages. That original $300 problem quietly turned into a $2,400 disaster. This isn't bad luck, this is math. And it happens to people every single day. This is the part no one tells you early enough. Being broke is expensive, not emotionally, not philosophically, literally. I spend an unhealthy amount of time thinking about the invisible systems that shape people's financial lives, the ones no one explains, but everyone lives inside. And if you've ever felt like one small setback could wipe out months of effort, or like you're running hard but not actually moving forward, this video is for you. Because today isn't about investing, it's not about side hustles. And it's definitely not about cutting lattes. It's about why the system quietly charges people extra for not having money. Most financial advice starts with a lie. It says wealth is about discipline and poverty is about bad habits. That if you just tried harder, budgeted better, or wanted it more, things would magically work out. But that ignores a very real economic mechanism often called the poverty premium. The simplest way to understand it is this: when you don't have money, everything costs more. Think about something boring: toilet paper. If you have $50 available, you buy the big bulk pack. It lasts months, costs maybe 50 cents per roll. If you don't have $50, you buy the small pack at the corner store. 4 rolls, $6. That's $1.50 per roll. Same paper, same softness, triple the price. Not because you made a bad choice, but because you didn't have cash. Now repeat that logic across groceries, cleaning supplies, diapers, batteries, medicine. Your personal inflation rate is higher simply because you're poor. Now let's move to where this gets darker: banking. If you have $8,000 sitting in your checking account, the bank treats you like a valued customer. No fees, perks. Sometimes even interest. But if you're living close to zero, the rules change. A forgotten subscription charges $19 when you only have $12. You go negative by $7. The bank charges you $35 for the inconvenience. You effectively borrowed $7 for a few hours and paid $35 for it. That's an interest rate so high it would be illegal anywhere else. But here, it's just policy. Banks make billions every year this way, almost entirely from people with the least money. The rich earn interest, the poor pay it. And before anyone says, well, just don't overspend, let's talk about psychology. When money is tight, your brain changes. Scarcity narrows your focus. You stop thinking in years and start thinking in days. Research shows financial stress can reduce cognitive performance by the equivalent of losing a full night's sleep. That's why people under pressure make decisions that look irrational from the outside. High-interest loans, minimum payments, short-term fixes, not because they're irresponsible, but because they're overloaded. Mental bandwidth is a resource. And poverty consumes it. Let's scale this up. Cars. Someone with savings buys a reliable used car. Low interest, predictable repairs, total cost stays reasonable. Someone without savings goes to a buy here, pay here lot. The car is overpriced. The interest rate is brutal. The vehicle breaks before the loan ends. They end up paying $14,000 for something worth $4,000 and still don't have transportation. That's not a bad decision. That's a system charging a risk premium for being broke. Housing works the same way. Renters often pay more per month than homeowners. But to buy, you need a down payment, money you can't save because rent already eats your income. So you stay stuck, paying more, getting less, building nothing. You're not buying shelter, you're renting stability. And there's another hidden cost people don't talk about: time. If you have a washer at home, laundry takes minutes of effort. If you don't, it takes hours: public transport, waiting, coins, scheduling your life around availability. That time loss compounds quietly, stealing energy, opportunity, and upward mobility. Poverty doesn't just drain money. It drains momentum. Here's the shift most people never make. The goal isn't to get rich first. It's to stop paying penalties before investing, before upgrading lifestyles. You reduce the interest, fees, and friction that keep draining you. That's why the first $1,000 saved matters more than almost any stock pick. It turns emergencies into inconveniences. It lets you fix small problems before they become expensive ones. Money doesn't just buy things. It buys options. Once you understand this, something changes. You stop blaming yourself and you start questioning the math. You stop asking, "Can I afford this payment?" and start asking, "What is this really costing me long term?" That's how people slowly step out of the trap. Not with hype, not with motivation, but with clarity. If this made you see your finances a little differently, calmer, clearer, consider subscribing. We don't talk about shortcuts here. We talk about systems and how to quietly beat them.